We're all located in various parts of the city. It allows us to get together, just get in front of a PC, jump in, do the meetings that we need to do to move this event forward. Second is as I'm actually doing Hangouts with our speakers. This would be a MCOM promotional piece. So we're actually highlighting what our speakers are talking about at the TED conference, so to bring visibility to them and their ideas.
And how do you share that in some way?
Yes.
There's this. I think Google has a version of Hangouts that is meant to be shared with a larger audience, but somebody was just telling me that only Google can basically enable.
Yes,
those.
That's the Hangouts on Air, and that's absolutely right. They only have a few of those, the Hangouts on Air streamers at this point in time, and they're using them very judiciously. We are actually, one of our speakers that we're bringing on to our conference is Daria Musk. She actually broke that medium, which was as a live performer doing a concert on air to a large-scale audience. As part of our program, we did the first filmed China. We had a hangout with Adnan Mahmoud, who was in China, and the rest of the team was here locally in the United States on the East Coast and on the West Coast. And we've done the first filmed collaboration from within China.
The good thing of Hangouts is that you can have up to 10 people concurrently being engaged, but it doesn't mean that other hundreds of people can actually follow the conversation silently. And this is what Jeris was talking about when you do the Hangouts on air. So like Michael Dell, I haven't joined any of his Hangouts, but he is a CEO of Dell. It's hard to get into the first stand when he opens up the Hangout. Probably he has a lot of followers just there ready to join him. But if I still want to hear from Michael, I could probably join just as a listener.
Okay.
And then there are a couple of so as soon as Hangouts when it was released, it didn't have any opportunity to actually share much of documents and share and then that's when Jeris and I had this original experimentation. We were trying to hack the tool to do things that it wasn't meant to do yet. It was in the roadmap of Google, because then a month after, right? It was, or 2 months after, 2 months later, Google just released the Hangouts with extras. That's what we are doing right now. Whenever you start the Hangout, don't just click on the big button. You have to click on the textual link that says start the Hangout with extras. Otherwise, you don't get all the nice little things on the left side that says documents, sketchpad, add doc. Drew, why don't you quickly introduce yourself? So we haven't done a formal presentation, but Drew and I are working. Drew is a video storyteller, so he teaches at the university. He has worked at Microsoft with me for 10 years, right?
Yeah, so my background is I've been in video production for about 30 years, PBS, BBC, Disney, ABC. I'm doing a lot of documentary work, and then joined Microsoft in 2000 in their media department, specifically doing production work, which afforded me the opportunity to start to look aggressively at how video is implemented across the internet and the web. And then about 5 years ago, I landed on faculty at University of Washington in the master's program in digital media. And a lot of the research and the work that I do there, specifically in narrative structures, how the web and how video augments and changes how we interact with the web. I look at that both in terms of a marketing sense, but also in terms of how we interact together in shared space. And so Paolo and I work a lot together. We give presentations, we do workshops on best practices in content creation. And so we work a lot in trying to figure out and help folks to figure out how to use a lot of this technology in ways that engage rather than just act as like a marketing blowtorch.
Let me just circle back on one thing. Jeris, you have access to the Hangouts on Air functionality or not?
I do not. I am working because one of our presenters at TEDxRainier is Daria Musk, who actually, as I mentioned, she broke that medium. We have been collaborating with the Google Plus team. That is David Bennett, who is the lead engineer on Hangouts, and also Chi Chu, who was a former Microsoft general manager, who actually leads. He's the director of G Plus Hangouts. So we have been collaborating. So I do have some background information, which is that there are just a few of those streamers available. They're going to be very judicious with their release at this point in time.
I mean, I actually saw there was a public event that Ford, I believe it was Ford, did a little while ago, that it was about millennials, and they used Google Plus Hangouts. They just took one of the, 10 user spots basically, and had an account that they were using as their feed into what they were showing on stage. So I guess that's a fairly simple workaround.
Yes, and actually for our event, for our TEDxRainier event, which is on the 12th of November, next Saturday, we actually are going to, we will project the Hangout on the screen. We will project a live Hangout on the screen behind Daria, who is performing.
What other things have you heard about, or are there particular people that you've consulted with or discussed this with in terms of whether they're using this for company meetings, sales presentations, things like that would be sort of routine business purposes? And does it make, I guess, one obstacle, if you're saying we're going to use this for, say, a sales presentation, is you're asking these people, particularly if they're not already techies, you're asking them to get a Google Plus account when maybe they don't have one already. So,
or as simple as a Gmail account. I mean, you absolutely are. And in some organizations, I would surmise that they would see that sort of public space as being somewhat of a liability. I think for some organizations, they might perceive having to do something through a Google environment has less security attached to it potentially, or more vulnerability attached to it. I don't think it's for everyone necessarily. I don't think that's the case. And I don't think anybody, I would hope no one's so naive to think that's the case. Because there are definitely going to be firewalls, there are definitely going to be situations where organizations are going to have trepidation that something's been saved in the background, something's getting cached out because some sort of tracking of cookies that's going on. And whether that's valid or not, I'm not really in a position to say whether it is. But I think any of us in business are going to acknowledge that potential problem and be sensitive to that. And if we have somebody who pushes back, we look for an alternative way to do it. This for us works well because we're working in industries that require this sort of collaboration and require this sort of connection. So it's already got, we're looking for tools that are going to facilitate that sort of conversation, that sort of shared meeting space. That's not necessarily the case for all lines of business or all lines of industry. Does that make sense?
What organizations would you expect to take more aggressive advantage?
For me, in an academic environment, because we're often already sharing resources. Google is not as much of a problem in those environments. So most folks already have some sort of Google access, have a Google account. They may or may not have a Google Plus account. They may or may not have triggered Google Plus. But in academics, it works really well because we can share. There's already that sort of connected tissue there. It doesn't have the barriers that we might have in Fortune 500.
But But in actually in an academic environment, are there other tools that you have available to you that do the same or similar things? That
Almost
would be
every
really just as good in many ways.
No, here's the challenge I face. So I've taught in 3 different institutions and currently teaching 2. Every one of them has their own proprietary, in essence, it's a turnkey solution for management of their servers, communication within, internal email, all that sort of stuff. Catalyst, Angel, there are all these sorts of different tools that are out there that don't extend beyond the university. And it becomes, frankly, prohibitive that I've had to learn all of these different tools, and none of them have the sort of flexibility or the user experience that something like this has. And so that's why I find a lot of my students engage Google Docs right off the bat, not because they were trying to stick it to the man, but because it was easy. Well, I mean, there's part of that, but there was an ease in terms of being able to collaborate, and so much more of college is moving, particularly even in high school, is moving away from that sort of traditional pedagogical sort of very traditional rigid rubric of this and this and this and this to much more collaborative real world sorts of things. Well, that requires real world tools. So the advantages, as we started to talk about before, is a lot of these millennials are, the syntax of emerging technology is absolutely encoded in their DNA. They have a fluidity and an understanding of how a lot of this technology works, and so therefore it's easy for them to immediately understand the value of something like a Hangout and then
I'll see these little images of me and a few other reporters arrayed across the bottom of the screen, and everybody kind of looks bored, and they're looking down at their notes, and nobody's making eye contact, and I really wonder what the point is sometimes. I'm trying to figure out, maybe it's just because I'm a little bit more involved in the conversation here, even though I'm occasionally glancing away at my notes. This does feel a little bit warmer to me somehow. And I don't know what necessarily is different about it from a technical standpoint or anything else, or whether it's just the context.
Well, I think if you limit to 10 people, I think 10, it starts already being a lot of people to all look always interested in the conversation, when maybe the conversation is monopolized by 3 of them.
Sure.
And then it's hard for the 10th to come in and say, hey, I'm here, and then I want to say my story. So,
well, also the scenario I was talking about, it's really a couple of people giving the press conference, and you're seeing these images of people who really have no reason to have their image being shown, because at least until they start asking questions or something. So,
nice.
I couldn't get in. There was no link to get in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So you needed an invitation in order to get in.
Right, but I see. I don't see the 3 windows. I mean, I don't see all of you at the same time. I only see, for example, now Jeris, just because she spoke last. But it's working. And now I see.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute. What about me? What about me? No.
That's right.
And so what you need to do for David is just walk down the hall there at Microsoft so he can see.
Yeah,
We can all get cards in.
Yeah, right. No, that's okay. Well, maybe this is enough for today. I actually have to hustle up some dinner for my kids. But I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I'll probably message you somehow or other, just some follow up. And Jeris, actually, if some of the recording came out okay, if you could share that with me, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, I'll do that tomorrow or Sunday afternoon. Is that okay? Do you have a hard? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. I'll send you a link. I'll just throw it up on my YouTube channel, and then you can, if you want to use it, you can download or do whatever you want. Okay.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Lovely meeting you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.